It all began with a single sentence that shattered everything I thought was stable in my life. We were gathered at a family event, surrounded by relatives, friends, and the very people I had always considered part of my safe circle. It was supposed to be one of those evenings filled with cheerful chatter and forced laughter that papers over unspoken tensions. Yet the atmosphere carried a heaviness I couldn't quite explain, until she spoke. She turned to me, her voice sharp and cutting enough to silence the entire room, and declared that marrying me had been a mistake. No build-up, no warning, no softening of the blow. Just blunt, brutal honesty thrown at me in front of everyone. My body went rigid, my mind racing for any sign it was some kind of cruel joke, but the silence in the room confirmed otherwise. Every set of eyes shifted toward me, some wide with shock, others quietly entertained, and a few waiting for me to fall apart. I wanted to lash out, to shout back, to humiliate her in the same way she had humiliated me. But when I looked at her, the woman I had trusted and built a life around, something inside me clicked. The fury I felt wasn't just about those words. It was the betrayal underneath them. This wasn't the first time I had felt it. It was simply the first time she had stripped away the pretense and made it undeniable. My chest tightened, my pulse raced, but along with the pain came clarity. Years of dismissing late-night calls, unexplained absences, and the cold distance in her eyes had all been leading to this moment. I had convinced myself to look away, but hearing her say it so publicly ripped away the last excuse I had. I scanned the room, desperate for a familiar smile or a nod of reassurance, but all I saw were whispers and the quiet judgment that people reserve for scandal. I knew what they wanted. Tears, anger, a dramatic scene that would give them something to gossip about for months. But I gave them none of it. Instead, I stood, walked away slowly and calmly, and left her sitting there in stunned silence. I didn't argue, didn't plead, didn't look back. With each step, I was reclaiming a piece of myself that I had allowed her to chip away for years. By the time I stepped outside, the cool air felt like a shock to my system, but it also woke me up. For the first time in years, I felt alive, in control, and free. People later speculated about why I hadn't shouted or chased after her. They couldn't understand that walking away was the loudest response I could give. It wasn't about pride, it was about dignity. It was about proving to myself, and to everyone watching, that I wouldn't remain in a marriage stripped of trust and respect. In the days that followed, I realized how much weight I had been dragging along. Every excuse, every compromise, every ignored sign had been like a stone I carried unknowingly. The moment I left that room, those stones began to fall away. By the time I reached my car, I felt lighter than I had in years. She tried reaching out afterward. Calls, messages, excuses about frustration, apologies wrapped in half-truths. But it didn't matter anymore. The wound wasn't fresh. It had been years in the making. What she had destroyed couldn't be repaired with words. And I refused to step back into a hollow life where love had already died long before that night. Walking away was terrifying, yes, but it was also exhilarating. It marked the moment I crossed from surviving in a draining marriage to reclaiming my own existence. Driving away from that house, from the whispers and her stunned expression, I felt a deeper understanding settle in me. Sometimes the truest revenge isn't shouting, or punishing, or trying to make the other person feel small. It's walking away, taking back your freedom, and living in a way that proves their words will never define you. Every mile I put between myself and that gathering was another mile toward peace, self-respect, and a life that finally belonged to me. She never imagined I would have the courage to leave for good, but that day I showed her, and everyone else watching, that my worth wasn't hers to decide. Walking away wasn't just leaving. It was the beginning of everything new.